Good morning. We greet everyone this morning. We're going to ask you to stand. Please stand. Let's pray. Father, we come this morning thanking you, Lord, for another day, your blessings and guidance in allowing us, Lord, to conduct a meeting of Gates County Commissioners. And that, Lord, what we do today, we ask that you give us guidance and direction, that it will be done in a manner that's acceptable in thy sight and be a blessing to your people. We thank you for all your goodness and grace. We ask these blessings in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll call our commissioner meeting to order. The first item on our agenda today will be the approval of the minutes from our previous meeting. Board, you have before you the minutes of December 19th, January 8th, and January 7th.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
on page 1389, about the Sunbury School, I believe it was built in 1932, not 1928.
That's 89.
1389. It's on the second paragraph, 4 lines from the bottom of that paragraph.
I think you're right. We probably need to research that. Okay.
And on 1392, the last full paragraph, it says Commissioner Hoffler, and that's it. I think that needs to be erased.
Also on 1393, in the second paragraph, where it says, Commissioner Owens made a motion to approve the change in the zoning for zoning amendment ZA 14-3, a request by Sunbury Fields LLC to rezone parcel number from R1 to RM from R. You've got to repeat it there. You need to take out the R to RM from R1. You can delete that. Also, in the bottom paragraph, you need to add in the last sentence, it says, it is the thoughts of the chairman to go ahead and rezone the whole strip at one time, and it was because rezoning one parcel could be considered spot zoning. That wording needs to be added. Any other corrections? There's some typos you need. I'll give you the copies and get those. If there are no other corrections, we'll call for the motion to accept the minutes as modified.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No. Thank you. That would include January, December 19th, January 7th, and January 8th. Okay, the next item on our agenda will be the adjustments to the agenda and the approval. We've got one change under 4.3B. Instead of Mr. Lenny Lazara, we're going to have Mr. Kenny Hines to address the Purple Heart resolution request. There are no other adjustments. So call for a motion to accept the agenda as modified.
So moved.
Second. Motion second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay. Okay. We have our delegations. And the first will be our citizens' comments. Okay. No citizens' comments. Our first announced delegation will be Mr. Jeffrey Merritt, BSS Director.
Citizens of Gates County, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Mr. County Manager, come before you from the Community Child Protection Team, from which I chair. We submitted our annual report that we're required by statute to present to the Commissioners. We'll start on page 3, at the top of the page where it says overview of Will County General Statutes. I'd just like to give a brief overview on some points and some recommendations that the Community Child Protection Team is making through this report. And I'll refer to Community Child Protection Team as CCPT. It was established as one means for the state and local communities to form a partnership to strengthen child protection. We have a multitude of members who are members of our team, which is listed in the report. Some examples of these: the Executive Director of a local community action agency, the representative for the school system, members of the Board of Social Services, a mental health professional, guardian alignment coordinator. Those are just a few of the ones who serve on our team. Also, as a Board of Commissioners, you may appoint a maximum of 5 additional members to represent county agencies or the community at large to serve on this local team, so you do have discretion to appoint someone who may be interested and you think would be beneficial to help us try to strengthen our measures to protect children in our community. The purpose of this CCPT team that was required by statute, some of the tasks that we tackle, we review selected active cases and of children which are being served by our local child protective services. We look at some of those cases to try to ensure that what we've done, our methods are, we're making sure we're going through in a very thorough manner we don't miss anything, that we're utilizing our resources, we are connecting those with the right resources that need them. Kind of a holistic approach. This is more not a team that comes and tries to pick apart cases to see what is done wrong, but we try to look and try to use it as from a community approach to help strengthen that if we see areas, maybe we could strengthen. We also review cases if a child has died as a result of abuse and neglect to see if there was any shortcomings there. We have not had to do that this year. We do have a child fatality prevention team, and we review all child deaths, just not abuse and neglect cases. But also we submit this annual report with recommendations from the last year to the commissioners. Moving on to the next page. This report is required by statute. Just want to bring that out. General Statute 7B 1406. Some of those purpose of the reviews from which I stated earlier are also listed on this page. Moving on to page 5. You will see actually our membership, the actual individuals who sit on this team currently and have throughout the past year. Our meeting frequency, place, date, and time. We meet quarterly at the Gates County Department of Social Services office on the 3rd Thursday of January, April, July, and October at 12 noon. Those meetings usually last approximately about an hour and a half. As I said earlier, we did review one child fatality during this past year. And again, we review all child fatalities, no matter if it was a result of abuse and neglect, but any child that died, to see maybe if there's a recurring trend in the community that needs to be addressed, to try and eliminate those causes if we see it recurring. Some of the community factors that we always like to outline that is on that's on the next page. I'd like to hit some of the highlights of those. These impact the well-being of our families and children. We see these, and some of these we see very frequently in our cases of Child Protective Services. Starting off with number one, which is a major issue, is mental health issues within the family, whether it be with the children or the parent. We continue to see issues in accessing these services. Some of this could be due to transportation or locating providers that continue to be problematic. We also see the need for a psychiatric residential treatment facility, otherwise known as PRTF in the region, to provide services for sexual offenders, outpatient and residential services for the mentally ill, and for a regional maternity home that continues to be needed. Also, this past year, we unfortunately lost our only mental health provider located within Gates County. We see this as a very urgent need for individuals who may need to access these services to being able to access them within the county instead of having to access them through providers located outside of the county. Substance abuse is another issue that is very prevalent in our child abuse and neglect cases that we see. Again, our only substance abuse provider to provide these services left last year as well. They provide these services dually, mental health and substance abuse counseling. So again, citizens want to access these services, continue to have the same issues of having to go outside the county to access these. Domestic violence is our third and most prevalent issue that we see in our Child Protective Services cases. We would like to thank Albemarle Hope Line and Roanoke Chowan Safe, who help us in providing services to victims and families involved in domestic violence. I'd like to thank the Sheriff's Department and their cooperation in helping us to address these issues, and we continue to improve our efforts by strengthening our partnerships with them. Another issue that we continue to see is substandard housing. When we go and assess reports, some of these issues relate to a lack of indoor plumbing, unsafe structures, antiquated and insufficient heating sources, which place these children and families at risk. We continue to try to address these as we've seen through a county. Our CDBG, we just completed a CDBG windshield assessment this past year, which allowed us to do a comprehensive assessment of the housing issues in Gates County. I think that action plan was presented to the Commissioners Board in May of 2013. So there is a list of the needs within the county that's been made aware, and also through other grants. Most recently, we were in the final phases of our urgent repair program. This urgent repair program allowed us to help 12 homes with minor to moderate repairs to ensure that the a need that could, if it progressed, may cause them to have to leave their home, could be fixed so they could remain in that home. We also continue to do an initiative. If you go on to the next page, last year we did the Wait Protects campaign in partnership with our school system and also the North Carolina Highway Patrol. This year we partnered with Sergeant Brian Strickland out of Kitty Hawk Police Department to do a presentation at our schools that addresses cyber abuse, which includes cyberbullying and sexting, which is starting to become a more prevalent issue with our teenage, and also going all the way down to elementary school population as technology continues to increase. Someone like me, I can't keep up with it, so it seems like someone that's in second or third grade has a little bit more knowledge than I do. But he was able to come and do a presentation for us. It was very informative. We had members of the Sheriff's Department there. We also had school administrators there that were able to come and see and ask him questions and learn about some of these new technologies and the ways that children can be harmful to one another or maybe unknowingly expose themselves to one another by using these technological methods. So I'm trying to raise awareness for that. We also had a presentation for the parents. Unfortunately, we didn't have anyone attend, but we're in the process of trying to get that presentation and put it on, I think, some of the school's Facebook pages so parents can access that. Finally, our recommendations, we would like for you to consider the following. As we have continued to approve sufficient funding for the Department of Social Services in the provision of child protective services and supportive services for family, consider funding a fully trained, dedicated law enforcement to assist DSS matters with expertise in child and elder abuse, neglect, and exploitation. Additional safe and recreational opportunities for youth that should help divert them from some of these activities that we see and that we try to address. Encourage, enhance, and continue collaboration between all departments in the protection of children and the elderly, even though we're talking about children now, for all citizens. If we also look and try to explore funding to where we could further our efforts to communicate our message in the community. If that funding if we do find an opportunity, we would ask that you would consider to provide a local match if required, and consider funding for a community development manager that can work in partnership with other county agencies and committees to address an increasing number of substandard living environments in the county by identifying and administering grant opportunities. Also, as we spoke about, the mental health and substance abuse provider, any efforts that you can help provide to in the recruitment and retention of one of these providers within Gates County would be most beneficial to our citizens who suffer from these illnesses. And in conclusion, I've also on the very last page have some changes in laws or policy. Your support of that will be very helpful as well. Many of those come from the state or federal level, in which we have to adhere to and implement. But you'll see some of those there as well. Finally, I want to again remind you that you are available to make up to 5 appointments to our community child protection team. If you would consider doing that we feel that would, help us to have a more holistic approach in that manner as well. You'll see some other information related to the child protection specific to this county. I would just like to note in that first bullet, the First Judicial District continues to strengthen the family court model. That court improvement program did end this last year, but it did provide some training to our family court model to ensure cases where children have been abused and neglected and that were in the court system move through there in an efficient manner instead of being stuck, so it could come to some kind of resolution. And with that, it concludes my report. I'd like to thank you for your time. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to try to answer.
Thank you, Jeff, for a thorough report. I did make an observation that of all the members serving on the CCCPT, I didn't see any citizens, any of our citizens per se. And board, I do believe that we need to make it available to them, and I would propose that we give guidance to the county manager to advertise for citizen membership and participation on the CCPT, and point at least 2 or 3 citizens from the county to serve on that board.
It just as an incentive, we do provide lunch. So.
Right. There's no other pay, but we give them lunch.
We get a slice of pizza and a soft drink.
I think that would be a good thing. And any other comments on the report?
I thought it was very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have, with all the concerns like mental health, I hope we can find a provider for locally to support it to our school age population, but all population as well.
I guess since I initiated it, and I would make a motion that we direct the county manager to make news media advertisement to solicit citizens to participate on this board by filling out an application, county application, and possibly at our next or subsequent meeting we can make some selection.
Mr. Chairman, I'd be glad to second that.
That's a motion second that we solicit citizens to participate on this board. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay.
Jeff.
Yes, sir.
That ECBH, was East Carolina Behavioral Health, are you getting good cooperation from them? I know they're not right here in the county, And that's probably your problem that you're having, is not being in the county itself.
Yeah, I sit on that board, and when we did our needs, we did our needs assessment, that's something that I put down for the county. I haven't had direct hand knowledge, but I was told of some of the issues as to why that practice could no longer continue, and we put those in that needs assessment. But we've had to call on them for some issues with our agency and trying to protect children and making sure that services are provided. And they've been responsive, when I call. So it does seem that there's a good line of communication there. There's still some gaps and needs that hopefully they're looking at addressing, and we're still trying to make sure that services reach those who need them in an efficient and timely manner.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
And we'd like to thank you for your motion, and if you have any questions, you can call me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, next item on our agenda will be Mr. Kevin Hines, Purple Heart resolution request.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kevin Hines, and first of all, I want to thank you on behalf of the Veterans of Foreign Wars and the members of the military or the Purple Heart to give us a few minutes to present ourselves today and explain to you who and what we are and why we're seeking a request for a resolution of your county officials. First of all, I'll give you a little background on the Purple Heart Medal, and then I'll tell you a little bit about the Purple Heart organization today and what we do today, our activities, and in that way explain to you why we're seeking your support with the approval of the petition. The Purple Heart Medal is probably the most recognized but least understood of all America's military decorations. It was initiated by General George Washington during the Revolutionary War back in 1782, and it was a purple ribbon. There was no medal attached to it, but it was a purple ribbon, and it was given for merit, usually military activities during combat in the Revolutionary War. And what was unique about it is General Washington issued it and presented it to enlisted men. And that was the first military decoration of any kind of any army in the world. Prior to that, armies only issued decorations and awards to officers. So very unique that way. It's an award that was very much approved by Congress back then, and after the Revolutionary War, it went into disservice. And it didn't become active again until 1930, 1932, when General Douglas MacArthur, then Chief of Staff of the United States Army, reactivated it in its current form, which is the, as I wear it, the purple ribbon with a white stripe, and then the medal, a heart-shaped medal, with the figure of General George Washington centered on it. And it is awarded, it's not won, it's not presented, it's not earned, it's earned by your blood of military men and women in combat with an armed conflict, either wounded or killed in combat. So it is awarded in that sense. You can't go out and earn it, you can't buy it, there's no points for it, and sometimes we simply say we're a little bit too slow and not smart enough to duck. But those of us who are here are very happy to be alive and to be able to present our case in behalf of all veterans, not just members of the military or the Purple Heart, which as an organization, we're probably the smallest military organization in the country, approximately 50,000 members. It's not automatic membership, you have to join. Here in North Carolina, we have about 2,000 active members in 12 chapters around the state. And the primary activities we're involved in is civic awareness, such as this. Americanism, we speak in the public schools throughout the state on patriotic and Americanism type issues. We also are a local chapter which is based down in Morehead City. We do significant fundraising to help local schools award scholarships to seniors going on to higher education after high school. The other major activity we have is significant fundraising for Wounded Warrior Home Leave program, where we each Christmas time send the members of the Wounded Warrior Barracks at Camp Lejeune in Jacksonville home for the holidays. We buy them airplane tickets or give them gas mileage. That's not the same Wounded Warrior TV ads you see. Ours is very local to Eastern North Carolina, specifically for the military members down in Camp Lejeune. There are other Wounded Warrior operations that go on in Fayetteville that are similar to ours, but we were the first ones to start it now 9 years ago. Fortunately, that program is phasing down as our military activities around the world decline, and we look forward to the day where we're not sending anybody home for the holidays because they've been wounded in combat. Again, we do a lot of public activity. We help. Our main purpose is to help other veterans and families of veterans in any issues they have. If they fall on hard times, paying an electric bill, buying food. We're supporting a family in our neighborhood right now where the family of 5 is on very tough times, and we're helping pay rent for them. So we do those things a little bit behind the scenes and quietly, but it's a purpose that we enjoy doing, trying to help other veterans and help our community through the scholarship activities. And part of that, and the reason we seek your approval today, the presentation or the concurrence of a proclamation of identifying Gates County as a Purple Heart County, is to increase the awareness of the military activities and what the sacrifices the military men and women, members of the military or the Purple Heart, and all activities within the military, all organizations, and all services, to recognize the sacrifices they make on behalf of all of us. And for that, we would appreciate your approval. We'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right. I do, thank you. First of all, we appreciate your service to our country.
Thank you.
And certainly all that you endure, our veterans endure as a result of serving. We have before us this proclamation, I think is the Hyde County template.
Yes, sir.
Is that right? And we would implement this from the Gates County standpoint.
Looks like we would be honored.
Okay. Do you have contact information for any potential Gates County Purple Heart veterans that we might have? I don't know how many we have that might want to get in touch with you all. You know, once we make this public and implement this, I'm sure the county office is going to get called. You know, I was a Purple Heart recipient. How do I get in touch?
How do you join? Yes. Well, Melissa has our cards. We don't have any official method of identifying Purple Heart recipients in the county. We do have some records on some of the few members of the military or the Purple Heart who live here in Eastern North Carolina who are not members of our chapter. But we hope, quite frankly, that this publicity in conjunction with the VFW will create the awareness that if they want to join, if they have a need or just want to join to help serve others, that they can contact us. And we're seeking the publicity and awareness of who and what we are, and we welcome helping any veteran for that matter, and certainly veterans who've been wounded.
All right. Board?
Commissioner Jordan, I make a motion that we approve the proclamation.
All right. Second. I have a motion and second to approve the proclamation to support the recognition of Purple Heart recipients. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. All right, we should have that one as next. Well, I guess what we could do is, since we've approved it, we can just go ahead and initiate it, and I can sign it on behalf of the board's approval, and we can get it initiated and recognized at the next meeting. Thank you so much.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next item on the agenda will be Mrs. Hedgepeth, local business person.
Hello.
Good morning.
This is my first commissioners meeting ever, so not real sure what to do. But the reason I'm here is on property taxes. My business was audited for 8 years, and they found where I did not turn in a percentage of cleaning supplies and office supplies, which I was not aware that I had to do that when they changed the form over, 8-9 years ago. But anyway, the bill for the taxes was $1,628.02 for the 2008 to 2013. And I have paid the taxes. What I am here for is for the penalty. 2008, 60% penalty, 2009, 50% penalty, and the penalties is $546.16. I feel that I should not have to pay all of those penalties for the simple reason when the year that they did all of the audits, reevaluations on the properties in Gates County, my business was charged for 6 years with the building being on the same lot. Okay, I was told that they could only reimburse me for the 3 years. No interest, no penalty, no nothing. I didn't argue the fact. But now that they've made a mistake, I get charged this kind of penalty. I don't think it's fair. The other thing is when they sent in for an audit, I got my CPA to do the audit on it. He found a mistake, which was in favor for me. He found a mistake, which was in favor for the county. That was corrected. I paid my CPA $300 for that. I come to the office to talk to Renee about it. She knows nothing. I have to wait and talk to the one who does the audit. The letter was sent to me and signed by Renee if I have any questions that can't be answered.
All right, penalty of $546.16.
Yes, sir.
All right. I did, board, I talked with Renee on this, and we looked at the general statutes as far as what authority the board would have to rescind or release any penalties. And it's pretty cut and dry. I can't think of the general statute number, but it's pretty cut and dry on what specific items that we can allow certain taxes or penalties not to be paid. And it's an administrative error. It has to do with a mistake and that sort of thing. And so I heard you say there, well, you felt like there's an error in some part here that you should not have been responsible for. And I don't know, we could take a look at that to see if that's the case. But the board itself, we're bound by the general statutes as far as what we can change and what we can authorize to be released. We're willing to take a look at that. I'm willing to get with Renee and see if this falls within those categories, and if they do, certainly we want to make sure that we make it right.
I understand that, but also I'd like for you to think back when I paid taxes on the same building, on the same property. Now, why is it okay for her to make a mistake or the county to make a mistake, but me as a citizen should not make a mistake?
You said you paid taxes on the
Same building on the same lot. And she says, well, it's my fault because I didn't catch it. Well, she had a letter from the health department stating that it could be no buildings on that lot. So therefore, that should have took care of that. And the only reason I caught it is when they did the reevaluation on all the properties, that's when I realized I was being charged for the same building on the same lot twice. I was paying for it on 2 pieces of property, same building.
Did we refund you?
They give me credit for 3 years. You told me to. Look, I can go back and get that.
So what we're saying is that there was no penalties involved on the county side for making a mistake.
Right.
All right, well, like I said, we can certainly take a look at that and and go over it. Like I say, if there are situations that we're allowed to release or give you credit for, certainly we want to do that because we don't want to be unfair. I enjoy Tar Heels when I go down there. And certainly I want to see you all treated fair.
I appreciate that.
All right. Board, anything want to add?
This is, when, 8 years ago, in this reevaluation, were you given any instructions that you had to pay taxes? It seemed like most of it's on cleaning supplies. And
It's
things.
cleaning supplies and office supplies. I was not aware. My CPA had to explain this to me. Renee couldn't do that either. But, that a percentage has to be used for cleaning supplies and janitorial supplies.
A percentage of the property tax. on the
A
bill.
percentage of your inventory. And I just learned that from him, my CPA.
This also listed for the instructions and have.
I understand that when first year I filled it out, I brought it to y'all to see if I had done everything properly because I did not understand it.
It's actually appreciation schedule in the records we can't go.
Okay. Renee, I don't know if you know the general statute that allows the commissioners to review and provide some kind of relief or adjustment, but we may get together with that and take a look at this and see where we're going.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, next item would be our administrative reports. County Manager?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I'm pleased to present the January 2014 County Manager's Report. It is in your packet. Be happy to answer any questions on it. But I want to transition very quickly and briefly to a Winter Storm Leon update. That was the named storm that we had last week. And there are two groups of people that I'd like to thank and to acknowledge publicly in that winter storm event, the response and the preparation for it. The first group is the public, and I want to thank the public for heeding the advice of the Sheriff's Office and the Emergency Management Office and the National Weather Service. Leon was a large winter storm event. National Weather Service has told us that it was about 8 to 10 inches in parts of Gates County, which is a lot of snow, a lot of winter precipitation for northeastern North Carolina. And we have today our second group of people that deserve to be acknowledged and thanked. And I'd like for them to come up on the rail here so we can see them all. If y'all would come on up here and present yourself before the board and the public so they can see who our essential personnel are, who our law enforcement personnel are, who our public service, public works employees are. If y'all would all just kind of come forward, I would like to acknowledge y'all and to identify who you are with the board and the public. Y'all worked very hard. Y'all worked very hard in hurricane situations, in tropical storm situations. We don't have much winter weather in northeastern North Carolina, but y'all really deserve a lot of praise and accolades. So on the end here we have Mr. Wynn with the Office of Emergency Management, Mr. Scott Sheets with the Forestry, State Forestry Office. We have representatives from NCDOT, and then we have representatives from the Sheriff's Office, the Highway Patrol, and our water and sewer, as well as our buildings and grounds. All of these people work very hard and very diligently on a lot of days and hours responding to the public, clearing roadways, and making things safe for the people of Gates County. We spend a lot of time talking about what makes us one Gates County and Team Gates County, but I would postulate to the public and the members of the audience that I am very humbled and honored to call these ladies and gentlemen co-workers and friends. They are what makes us one North Carolina. So on behalf of the County Manager's Office, I want to thank each one of you all individually and just tell you how humbled I am to consider myself a co-worker. And I just want to give you a round of applause, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
One thing that we recognize, just so everybody, we have Line Sergeant Joyner with us, a brand new line sergeant here in the district. He's new to our district, although a very eager veteran of the Highway Patrol. He was working in the Dare County area. Just wanted y'all to get a chance to introduce himself as our new line sergeant, Sergeant Joyner. And I would just like to say this. Everybody here worked as a team. I think everybody in this whole group, sometime or another, ended up either with a shovel in their hand or doing something on the tractor or doing something to help move the snow. But there's one person that we all know that Billy and I talked about different ones we need to recognize. That's that little young lady sitting over there behind you all who came out on her days off in the middle of snow, even fighting chickens with Purdue to get the truck stuck and everything else. She came out and helped us. And I just want to recognize Miss Code. And again, you're our county manager who was there with us through thick and thin. And I think everybody here needs to be recognized on that as well. I just didn't want to exclude those two. Thank you.
We do thank each and every one of you for your service and your dedication. And, Gates County is a better place because you're here. Thank you much. Did you have anything else, gentlemen?
No, sir. I'll be happy to answer any questions on the administrative report.
Okay. All right, if nothing else, we have our finance report from our finance director. Anything? Nothing else.
Questions?
Okay. I guess we've got the customer service policy later on in the agenda. We'll have our tax report from our tax administrator.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, I would like to thank y'all for adopting the proclamation in reference to Purple Heart recipients. My father was a Purple Heart recipient from World War II, so I do thank y'all for doing that. And I'd also like to thank all of those that got out and worked with the snow and so forth, because it enabled the rest of us to sit home where it was warm and enjoy the snow cream. So we greatly appreciate it and everything that y'all did. You have your tax collector's report in front of you. Nothing really out of the norm to report. If you will notice at the top under motor vehicles, your discoveries for the month of January, we had just a little under $3,000 that we billed for motor vehicles. So that is phasing out more and more. And I think this month, we had, I think it was like 24 renewals, late renewals that had come in that we will bill this month. And then towards the bottom, very bottom of your page, or next to the last line, you will actually see what came in from DMV for motor vehicles. And as of right now, our total collections, and this figure that I'm giving you now is, we did not put it on your sheet, we will start doing that next month, is actually for just the real and personal levy, because we will not be factoring in the motor vehicles this year in our collection percentage. And right now, we're at 89.06. Last year at this point in time, we were at 90.12, so we are about 1% behind right now where we were. We have recently mailed out second notice letters, and that is helping to bring some in, and we will be mailing other notices later on. Do y'all have any questions in reference to that?
I see we still have some collection from Travis Ellis.
I have received documentation from him finally. He actually returned 25 accounts to us along with the title work that he had done. We do have 18 accounts that remain with him that we have asked him to go ahead and finalize within a 12-month period. The 25 accounts that he returned to us, things are not quite matching up with what I previously had, so I'm going to go back and review those before I present all of that to you. The bottom line figure that we owe him for those is not corresponding with my figure, so I need to review that. And I will give you, once I do that, I will give y'all a full report on that. And also, at your places today, you had an invitation to the Albemarle Tax Association meeting. Gates County will be hosting that this month, and it will be February the 18th at Zion Methodist Church on Highway 37 South. We will be having a speaker from the Department of Revenue that we have asked to talk about the concerns with revaluations and issues with that, because that's going to be a pretty hot topic with our legislators coming up. And we'd very much love to have you and your spouses or significant others join us for that evening if you would like. And that's all I have, unless y'all have any other questions.
Okay, looks like a good menu.
Okay, well, hopefully it will be.
All right, nothing else, we appreciate the tax report.
Thank you. Oh, I do apologize. I have 2 refunds that Ms. Harrell is going to present. Excuse me.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Attached to your tax report, you will find 2 refund requests that we ask you to review and consider this morning. The first one, in the amount of $200, was a taxpayer who made multiple payments during 2013, and his last payment did create an overpayment. We have discussed this with him, and he has decided that he would like a refund at this time.
Is this a result of them not having a bill or invoice when they come to the window? They just come and give you a check, or how does that happen?
We have a lot of people who just pay a certain amount every month. That's what this gentleman did, and apparently had not realized that he had paid the payment in full, and he just continued those payments. Yes, sir.
All right, board, we have 2 in front of us. One for $200, and the other one for $108.43. Guess we need to move on the first one first. What's the pleasure of the board for the $200 refund?
Will we refund it?
Second.
There's a motion second to refund the taxpayer $200. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay, got one more?
Yes, sir. The second refund is in the amount of $108.43, and this is a refund on a vehicle bill. This taxpayer lived in North Carolina in Gates County, and he paid the full year payment on his taxes on his vehicle. And then, as you can see, he moved to Virginia. We do have documentation that he has the vehicle registered in Virginia. So we are looking to refund him the number of months that he was not in North Carolina.
All right. What's the pleasure of the board?
Make a mo-
Go ahead. That we pay the money back, please.
All right, it's been motion.
Second.
Second, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next item will be, we've got personnel reports, departmental reports, correspondence, articles of interest, and county calendar. Are there any questions on those items? Okay. I did have one observation. I see Billy's still here. Okay. On the prison camp, I noted that we didn't include anything on your report regarding any of the activity or what's going on there. I think it would be good and helpful if you would just kind of make us aware.
Absolutely. We are 99.5% complete with the phase of that project with the Emergency Operations Center. We've got a few electrical concerns with the generator and a plumbing concern. As soon as those two things are finished, we're excited to announce that we're going to have an open house with local and state representatives to that. So we're very, very close. We did function during the Winter Storm Leon in that facility, and it served us well.
I know one of the commissioners mentioned last time about considering the fence removal. Has that been given any thought? And I know you commented on it a little bit, you were a little leery, but...
It's been considered, and we will consider it more, but for the time being, we've got a lot of assets behind that fence, and the price that we were given to move the fence, it seems to be counterproductive in my opinion.
All right, appreciate it, Bill.
Sheriff Webb, with Billy being out there, did that cause you any kind of problem in communications back and forth? I know you have your radios.
Oh, yeah, we had the radio. No, it didn't cause any problem with us being out there. It was actually a nice central place that we could meet, where we had plenty of place to park. The nice thing was being able to park on concrete.
Right.
Or, the snow and everything. And I will commend Billy and his crowd out there. The building's going to be ideal for what it's doing. You're speaking of the fence. That's just my opinion, what Billy's speaking of. That's one place that's nice that we can lock equipment behind, but we don't have to somebody messing with it. So that's something maybe to consider down the line.
Right. And my question to the fence was maybe not take it all down, but to move the front part back to the building so it would be a little more eye-pleasing to the general public that was having to go out there to possibly use it in some form or shape.
Well, it worked out real good for us. Of course, communications being where it's at, we had a constant contact with them in and out. And that was another asset, and I'm sure that Billy, y'all know that's under his hat. But we need to recognize our dispatchers as well, too. They did an excellent job during the storm. We had extra people to man if they needed extra help. And again, it was just a real good team effort. And as your question, that, Mr. Chairman, was it worked out okay. It worked out very well.
Thank you.
All right, thank you much. That concludes administrative reports. No public hearings. Now we go to our old business, being consideration of adopting and approving the county customer service policy. You have before you the latest version. I think that Sandy, you all done a great job of putting this together.
Thank you. It was certainly a group effort. There were many, many players involved, and I appreciate the help of everybody that assisted with it.
Okay. Sandy, you want to just give us an overview before we comment on anything?
Well, you all have received the final version. I think the only change that's been made since you received it was a table of contents that's been added to the front. We've gone in and we've added the areas that you all have requested, and we've kind of tried to include everything. I don't think any policy is going to be completely inclusive. There will always be things that we've missed, and I don't think the intent is to detail every single process that could be. It's basically to be an overview, and I think this is a really good overview and a good policy, and I think it's going to serve us well.
There's one area I need a little clarification, and Tim is here, and I'm glad he's still here. On page 7, item 6, it says, service discontinued for non-payment will be restored after the bill is paid in full by cash, certified check, or money order to include late fee and reconnect fee as provided in the Gates County fee schedule.
Yes, sir.
I noticed when I went to the appendix on page 13, attachment 1 rather, it has late fee, cut seal / lock fee, and reconnect fee. The clarification is The cut seal lock fee, that's something, when do we do that?
That's if they cut the lock, correct? I mean, if we lock them out and they go out there and they cut the lock, or sometimes I think they use tie wraps if you don't have locks.
We don't do that.
You don't, okay,
It's
so
all locks now.
It's all, so seal is probably,
we can remove that word.
I was wondering when that was implemented, because it would seem that you would have a late fee, cut, lock, seal fee, and reconnect fee, but you would only have it if the customer themselves.
Remove the locking device. That's the only time that fee would come into play, is if the customer removed the county's locking device.
But wouldn't you still have to if you put a lock on there, wouldn't you have a reconnect normally?
Well, you're gonna have a reconnect fee, but if they destroy our property, which we lock, that is the replacement cost for destroying the locking
Okay.
device itself.
All right. It's,
Right, that is a separate charge in addition to the late fee and the reconnection fee.
all right.
That's recouping our cost for destruction of property, which legally we can press charges for destruction of county property. We're trying not to go that route.
You first read it, you wonder why it was not in there, but I see what. All right, I think the customer service policy has been put together very well. It's all inclusive, and as I've said in the past, that this gives us a more of a one-stop area where citizens can go and they don't have to try to feel their way as to what do I do to get a permit here or whatever. Funds can be collected here or provide direction as to where they need to go.
Correct.
So I think there's a lot of benefit in the one-stop customer service policy. And I'm glad we got it together and we can, Commissioners, if you all got any comments, we can move forward in adopting it.
I'd like to thank the people who has put this together. I know Sandy is probably working on it, and Renee and Timmy and a whole handful, not just one person.
Yes.
And this is a tremendous amount of work compared to probably the first one that was presented us. And I thought it really looked good, but I know there was a lot of time and effort put into it, and I'd like to thank them for that.
Thank you.
Commissioner Jernigan said all I was going to say as well. It is a lot of work you can tell, and it is user-friendly. With the table of contents, that will make it even better.
I'd like to, if you don't mind, if you would just send us electronically the table of content version so that we'll have it, you know.
Yes, sir. And it'll be posted on the website as well, so it'll
Okay.
be available there as well.
Okay, that's fine.
The one thing that I would ask is when you all decide to finally adopt this policy, we would like the policy to go into effect immediately, but the billing cycle changes we would like to make effective with the bills that will be due in April. There are some changes there and we need time to notify the public. The biggest change, as we talked about, will be the way that cutoffs are handled, but also that the customers whose bills have been due on the 25th of the month, that due date will be moved up to the 20th of the month. And if we make it effective with those bills, it gives us 2 months to let the public know and to make them aware so that they're not caught off guard when that bill comes in and it's due 5 days earlier than what they're used to.
Are you going to put out some kind of flyer with our water bills and that kind of stuff?
Yes, sir. And the water bills this month, I don't know which cycle you're on. The first cycle has gone out a couple of days late. The next cycle hopefully will be on time. We had issues getting the meters read on time this month. And there are flyers in this month talking about the opening of the customer service window. And we'll do the same thing with the change in the billing cycles and these changes as well over the next 2 months, and also hopefully get it out in the public in other ways as well.
So the billing cycle change effective April 1,
Yes, sir, with the bills that are due in April.
or the bills
Yes,
due in
sir.
April.
Yes, sir. Yes, in April, because yes, we're changing the bills to be mailed on the first, so yes, April 1 would work. And the rest of it could be effective immediately.
Okay, any other comments from the board? Or if not, we'll entertain a motion to approve the customer service policy with the exception that the change in billing cycle will start April 1 for the bills that are due in April. Is that right, then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, could we get that motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion is second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Dan. All right, the next item on our agenda will be our new business, consideration of ordinance 14-6, amending FY14 budget. All right. Looks like you want to go over that with us. I see some insurance proceeds and miscellaneous revenue.
Yes, so this budget amendment is to cover the shortfall in the tax department that we've discussed over the last couple of months in the, I believe it's contracted services line. And this is to fill those shortfalls that we've discussed. We had some insurance proceeds. Unfortunately, we had some vehicles that have been damaged, and there's some miscellaneous revenue that was not previously budgeted, and we'd like to use those to cover those shortfalls. And also the motor vehicle fees that we budgeted originally, DMV has delayed the implementation of those fees until November of last year, where originally it was supposed to start in July. So we had some extra funds there that have been budgeted that we can use to help cover this as well.
And that should total to the $33,500.
Yes, sir, and I apologize, the totals are not on here.
All right, any discussion, board? Questions, comments? Where did miscellaneous revenue come from?
When we changed, when the NCACC insurance pool went out of business and we changed over, they have just finalized their bookkeeping, and we received a refund check of, I believe, about $9,700. So we're using, using $6,100 of that to cover this.
All right, we have budget amendment number 25 and ordinance 14-7. What is the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to see us approve this ordinance change.
All right, we have a motion.
Second.
Motion second, that we approve the ordinance change. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item would be the consideration of a grant application for community waste reduction and recycling grants.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. This item presents for the board's consideration a grant proposal to implement the school and community-based recycling at the school buildings and some of the local government offices in order to reduce the amount of MSW, which is municipal solid waste, the trash that goes into the landfill, by increasing our recycling efforts. In order to accomplish this, it's going to improve our environmental protection, and it's also going to realize some cost savings for us. So by being friendly to the environment, it's also friendly to the budget. We're working with this grant through the PCG Landfill Authority and the school board. It's going to require close cooperation. However, it is already something that has been considered in the shared services agreement with the school board. And I believe school staff is excited to see recycling return to each of the public school facilities.
There's a county match of $476.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
All right, seems to be a good thing. think it should be beneficial. What's the pleasure of the board?
I move that we accept this proposal.
All right, it's been motion that we accept the proposal to apply for the Community Waste Reduction Recycling Grant 2014.
I'll second that.
Motion second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nays. Okay.
There is, it's the end of the month, February 24th.
Mr. Chairman, are there any other counties doing this same type of program? Do you have any idea?
There are a lot of folks that are already recycling in the schools. We're actually one of the last ones, I think, in the Northeast to increase our recycling numbers. It's going on in most of the schools now.
I think at one time we were doing it, and they cut back on doing it when the county school system started hauling their own trash. I think that's when they stopped doing it that time. But I think it's great that it's coming back.
All right. Okay, no other citizen comments? Commissioner comments? Yes?
I'd like to thank everybody for coming today, and I'd like to once again, while Ed is here and Timmy's here, thank the people that got out and worked in this snow. I saw some of the DOT people at one of the restaurants, which is my favorite restaurant, the one I go to close to my house. And I told all of them, I think there were about 6 or 7 of them in there, they were in there getting something to eat also. And but I appreciated their getting out and moving the snow. And I live on a secondary road, and it was not touched the first day. And I understand why, because of the main roads are first. But they were there the second day, and they were out there, and they hit that road, I think, 3 or 4 different times that day. Every time it would thaw up a little bit, they were there moving it. And I certainly appreciate it, and I'm sure the people on the road and in my area appreciate it also.
I'm thankful we don't have snow this week. But yeah, I do want to thank all those who worked to clear our streets and our sidewalks and our buildings. And I will comment, I happened to be at the new library, and Mrs. Family said, I might have to call because I'll forget the new libraries down here. The county employees do salt the sidewalks and all. By that time, I saw the county maintenance truck coming in. That was on Tuesday morning. And she was thrilled that y'all remembered her. So that was very nice to help get people in and out of buildings safely. And I thank all for coming today. I believe this is the briefest meeting we've had in a long time on the public side. But anyway, thank you for coming. Thankfully to those who served our country with the Purple Hearts. Certainly we are here today because of the sacrifices of people who came before us.
I too thank you all for the community participation and all the hard work you did this week. Some of us really don't enjoy playing in the snow anymore, and it's very good that we not only had good service after the fact, we had pre-treatment on the roads before the fact, and that helped a lot.
All right, thank you, Phil. Thank you, Commissioners. And I too reiterate what's been said. Certainly appreciative of what the county employees have done during the inclement weather. I do remind all of our county employees that we have 3 days of inclement weather, so let's hope that we don't have too bad of a winter remaining. I know the groundhog came out and said we have 6 more weeks, but hopefully we won't have to use any more inclement weather days this year, but if we do, we'll deal with that when it comes. But we thank all of you for coming and all the participation that's been put forth. And I do want to remind the citizens that there will be a North Carolina Department of Transportation meeting on February the 11th at 2 p.m. There will be some discussion on the transportation needs, and there may be some discussions on US 158. Is that right, Mr. Cameron?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. This is actually for the Comprehensive Transportation Plan, so 15813. This is the future plan for Gates County and the people of Gates County.
All right.
So when is that, February?
That's February 11th at 2 p.m.
And where?
It's going to be in the Commissioner's room on a Tuesday. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So, anyone interested in coming and finding out what the latest information is about the widening of US 15813, as well as what's going on with some of our secondary road improvements, that's going to be a good time to be present. Hope everyone has a great day. Those of us who have continued working, that we'll have an even better day. So thank you for coming, and we will take a break before we go into closed session.
Mr. Chairman, before we close, I'd like to also thank Timmy. I didn't thank him publicly, but it was very nice to know that we had water to drink during all this process for the last couple of weeks.
Yes, indeed. All right. We'll go ahead and make a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Second.
All right, the motion made to go into closed session in accordance with North Carolina General Statute 143, 318, 11, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, nay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to come out of closed session.
Second the motion.
All right, so the motion second to come out of closed session. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, Board, we have before us several items that we need to approve and move forward. The first item, we need to authorize the chairman, county manager, and attorney to move forward with discussing with the property owner the potential for obtaining property as discussed in closed session.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Next one is you need to notify the landowner that previously discussed negotiations are not desired to go forward by the Board of Commissioners.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Need a motion to authorize the county manager to obtain the services of our engineering firm to identify locations of sewer line on economic development property as discussed in closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right. We need to authorize the chairman and county manager and attorney to sign settlement memorandum as prepared by the attorney as discussed in closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay. We need to authorize the implementation of our pay reclassification and organizational structure for public services, Sheriff's Department, and EMS as discussed in closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Need to authorize the county manager to notify our CDBG grant administrator to accept changes or accept the bids for construction as previously approved, and to rebid or renegotiate the mobile home as discussed in closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Need to authorize the county manager to submit the rezoning letter to the surrounding landowners of zoning reclassification as noted in closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay. I need to authorize the chairman to discuss with business owner the board's position on moving forward with economic incentives as discussed in closed session.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Motion second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay, should have about 8 of them. Okay. All right, there's no other business. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed, nay. All right.